Hello, welcome back to Actual Play Apocalypse Keys Season 2. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Everything's breaking. It's a good place to jump back in.
Absolutely. So before we went on break, we knew that Celine was on the verge of pulling in all his energy. So Celine, you do have a choice to try to spend the moves immediately, but Torn Between is also very cool. If you want to do that, that would be super awesome. What are you in the mood for? What do you think?
Oh yeah, I forgot Torn Between. Is that a newer one? Is that
Yes. Oh,
okay?
Good point. Let's read it out. So this is a new version. So it used to be that you would have to roll for it, right? So instead, now Torn Between is a choice that you make. So when you're torn between your monstrous nature and your human heart, or when you're tempted by what the darkness demands of you, make a choice. So in this case, Celine, what does the darkness demand of you?
Well, typically it demands that I cannot find love. Wait, hold on, let me read it out correctly.
Mhm.
Where is it? There's too many things. I can never fall in love and to race humanity itself. No big deal.
Absolutely no big deal.
No big deal.
I'm going to ask, because I'm going to give you, let me know how you're feeling about this. Mm-hmm. Do you think all of this is bringing to the surface, what's going on between Ember and Civ? Have you been okay with it this whole time? Because you did have feelings.
I did have feelings. I think there's still some sort of little, emotional turmoil within. And I think the reason why I think Celine gets overwhelmed so easily, especially when Ember's like this, because there's that small it could have been a sort of situation
Mm-hmm.
in her brain.
It did seem that way in the beginning, right?
Yeah. So I think that's why that happened. Why other than Ember being Ember, that's why she got overwhelmed. Right when Ember was reacting like that.
Yes, I think what the darkness demands of you is you can see very clearly the parts where Ember punched through the pool, that she left bits of her power behind, and it's crackling through, and whatever is happening, this time rift that's forming in this area, it's plumbing through Ember's power, and the darkness inside of you wants you to take that power that Ember left behind into yourself.
Ooh.
If I can manifest it, I think Ember probably summoned some giant pick that she's run into the crap, just into her hand, this long bladed pick of a knife just was rammed in and is left behind. So just there's a physical object.
Perfect. I like that a lot.
Oh, I think she's gonna she hears the darkness call, but I think she's going to try to close the rifts. However that can happen, I don't know. Can I do it? Right. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you have two options, right? Is that correct, Jamie? That
yeah.
Mm-hmm. It sounds to me, Morgan, like you're describing how you. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure if this is letting your monstrous nature show, or if you're diminishing your power to conform to what society demands.
I think. Oof. Because I don't think she is trying to conform to what society demands, because she's trying to help control the rift. If society demanded her, she would be one of the mortals.
Right.
Mm-hmm, so I think this is my monstrous nature show, and I'm using my powers to try to close the rifts that Ember opened up accidentally.
Absolutely. And so do you think maybe as you're trying to close it, what kind of damage does this outburst of power cause?
Ooh, thinking. I think it could be kind of not a physical damage, but I think it's more like an emotional perception damage that people are like, oh, Celine's usually got it all put together. But when they're like, oh no, we forget she is that. And I think it causes more of a emotional turmoil, and people start seeing her in a negative light sometimes just because they're like, gotta be careful around her. Because Ember, we know Amber, because Ember's just like upfront and aggressive and like, just all this. But Celine isn't. And so, like, whenever this stuff happens and she releases her powers, they're like, oh, yeah, that's a thing. You know?
Yeah. Could I add to it? Do you feel like maybe, let me know how you feel about this, the psychic, as you clash between like the psychic feedback and this time and you're closing the rift and trying to go through all of that and you send this emotional energy outwards. Does everyone in the room see an image of what you wanted or almost had with Ember maybe?
Ooh. I don't. Oh.
Oh man, put Morgan on the spot.
You can say no. You can say no. I'm just saying that I was just, or you can change it, to whatever you like.
I think it's not. They don't see anything, but they feel the heartbeat of like, like whenever you get like palpitations of like, when you care about somebody. I think it's like, just for the briefest seconds, they get those like palpitations within themselves. So it's not anything visual. It's not anything physical. It's more like emotional.
I like that. Yeah, but I think it would also make sense as part of this like feedback loop. I'm going to say Civ and Ember, go ahead and mark a condition. So you can choose whichever condition you like.
Why did I give him a condition?
It's just from the. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
I was going to say, Morgan, do you want Civ to have actually seen that what if? Because Civ's got telepathy, so like I'm probably going to have seen more than you wanted me to see.
Probably, yeah. Honestly,
amazing.
I am taking the Lovelorn condition because it seems very fitting to what Ember just felt, and also this like heart palpitation of what's lost. She doesn't know what it comes from. She doesn't know it's Celine's feelings about her. It's I think she projects it as her own feelings about, uncertainty. If she is just like, no wonder Civ can't dedicate themselves to Ember for all eternity. Ember can't keep her shit together for even like a second.
I forgot we all have different conditions. They're all done differently.
I'm picking introspective because that seems appropriate for Civ.
Nice.
On multiple fronts.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. And so as a new thing also, compared to the last edition, so there is a new way to gain darkness tokens whenever you choose to embody a condition that affects you. So now that it's marked, so anytime, say if you decide to, when being introspective affects you, or when being Lovelorn affects Ember, then you can gain more darkness tokens to that. So Celine, you just gave them an opportunity to gain more darkness. That's all. It's like,
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Also, a question: whenever I use the torn, oh god, what is it called again?
Torn between. Mm-hmm.
Torn between. Do I lose? Do I go under 5 now, or what? How does that work?
No, you still keep it actually. So
okay.
Oh, yeah. And so, but you mark ruin instead.
I did.
And you get and it gets to like you get to keep it for now. But like if the numbers shift again, then it could be a thing. But yeah, and so when you're able to like control, you feel the time start to pull back together. I'm gonna say, Celine, you can definitely feel like something has tampered with this, right? You can feel how like the threads of reality here. Yeah, I'm gonna say like ever since you closed the Rift portal, you're probably more sensitive to those energies in general, like what keeps the dimensions in place and reality and stuff. And so kind of like a WandaVision thing. I'm so obsessed with that show. Okay. And so it's such a good show. And so you can feel something has tampered with this. It's not natural, whatever this is. This is not a natural degradation of reality or anything like that. Like, you can sense how the area has been sabotaged in some way.
And just to clarify, not by punching, right? Like, it's been sabotaged, not.
Yes. So not by punching. You can sense that, like, what
it could be, Ember. It didn't sound like that's what you were insinuating. So I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, it's more like Ember punched the sabotage, like, and so it activated it, right, and weakened it. You can tell like it was supposed to break up slower over time, right? And so Ember just sort of like fast forwarded it, which meant you were able to see it clearly. So Ember was helping,
helping, speeding up the apocalypse. No big deal. Like,
Ember and fast forward is a pretty good two things that go pretty well together.
I feel like this is one of your classic tomato potato situations.
Yes, exactly.
Helping, shortening the wick of the dynamite,
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
100%. Absolutely true. Yeah, so but you're able to keep it together. Celine, do you want to roll this into grasping for keys, like trying to figure out what's going on?
See, I was going to ask about that, but I was like, is it too soon to already start grasping for keys?
No.
Always start grasping for keys. I'm here for you.
Totally makes sense.
I will grasp for keys then. I'm gonna. I forgot. Do I tell you now how many I'm gonna spend, or do I just? Yeah, I do. Right.
Yeah. But let me read it out for everybody.
Okay.
Listening and watching. So when you search for, this is still mostly the same compared to the previous edition. When you search for a clue, investigate the signs of apocalypse, or use your powers of darkness to gather information, describe how you were doing so, spend darkness tokens, and roll. So how many would you like to?
I will spend
here?
3.
Ooh, yeah. Let's go.
Okay. Okay, I think. Do I name no, I don't name it. Do I save this roll?
Oh, you don't have to, but if you want to, just so that the next time you do it. But you can just go ahead and roll if you don't want to.
I got a 12. Oh no.
Oh. Okay, well, I mean, you still did it.
Yeah, I did it. I did
it. So you uncover a key, but there's a significant complication, cost, or fallout. The keeper will tell you what it is, and you got a 12 in. So just for people watching, just so that they know, if you want to, you could spend your bonds to bring it down to a 10, right? So that you don't have to deal with the complication and the fallout. And once you spend the bonds, you describe how those connections are helping you in this moment. But if not, it's totally fine. We can stick with the complication.
Let's give you some complications already.
Yeah. Sure. Why not? Why not?
Shit.
Yeah. You kind of, besides those bonds are really, you're like, it's great to save them for when you really need them. So, okay. As you reach out, so I assume like you're trying to read through, do you feel like that's what you're doing? Like read through the reality, like signature, like see what was going on, like who sabotaged this. Is that right? Or did you have something else in mind?
I think that sounds really, I love it.
And so as you reach out, you can hear your sister's voice. And she says, can you, hello? Can you hear me? Am I finally coming through?
Sister?
Yes, I saw that they're doing something. You have to protect. They're trying to create a kingdom. And then you can sense like something is like blocking like most of the message from coming through, right? And she says, you have to get to, before it's too late. The children, they're going to turn them. It's only a matter of, please, I believe in you. I know that you won't let them use you.
Who are they?
And then there's like this long pause, and then you hear your sister's voice, but it starts to change and it starts to deepen. Hello, little ones. Are these the discarded gods? I think they are. How did you survive this whole time? Celine, you even kept the name.
Who are you?
Don't worry, my pet. We'll meet very, very soon. And then you hear your sister gasp, and for a moment you see a flash of her in your mind trying to reach out, like she's trying to push back against the boundaries of reality. She's trying to reach you, and you see her start to disappear and melt away in a way that's very similar to what happened to the Oracle.
Yeah, I think Celine's trying to reach out back to her, and I think that's when we come to. And I don't know if any of this comes to physicality, where like Celine starts to like over like into like the world, like.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like what everybody else sees is like the reality starts to just sort of shimmer around you as you like reach out to try to grab it, and the last thing you hear is your sister's voice saying, "Don't, I'll find you," and then she fades away. So the key that you got is that whatever is going on, they are trying to build a kingdom. Let me write this down. Whoever is behind this is trying to build a kingdom by using the children's power. And so you also see the same flashes that Civ saw earlier of like that same mansion, the garden, all of that. And so Civ, I'm going to say like you're able to pick up on that same visual resonance. Like you see the same thing like around Celine reaching out to her. So you definitely have a specific place in mind. What do you do?
Yeah, I think once the vision ends and I come back to, I think she's gonna pause and inhale and just turn to look at the other two, and she's gonna be like, I spoke to my sister. Things are happening. They're trying to use the children's powers and build a kingdom. Not sure who they are yet, but
You saw the gate. Yes.
I guess so, yeah.
Before I respond, I want to just sort of paint a picture of the scenery. Jemmy, it sounded like everything was kind of collapsing like in on us, right? So I think Ember is standing over the basins, like with one hand with like a giant pillar that's like collapsed, and she's like holding it up, and like with another hand she has like this onyx shield that she's like summoned, and it's like over one of the oracles. It's like getting out. She's like, "Is your sister well? Did she send givings? Has she been keeping up with the rest of your family?" Right? She's trying to do the thing you do where you like try to be good, like when you turn 30 and you realize you haven't like paid any attention to your family in a long time because you had your own life ahead of you.
Sean, why are you calling me out like this right now? Like,
I'm calling myself out if it makes me feel better. Yes. So yeah. So she's doing that like, oh, I wanna like check in with family thing. Yeah. Is she well? Did she need anything? Is she lonely? Does she talk to you often? As shit's collapsing down around. It's fine if Celine does not answer any of those questions.
I think she just looks at
Civ's
Ember.
questions are more important.
Yeah, I think she just looks at Ember because she knows how incredulous Ember could be just all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It just going to look like you're asking me these questions now, like right now. Well, and then she's gonna look back at Civ and be like, "What's the gate?"
I don't know yet, but I think it's important.
We need to figure out where these children are and try to see how we can stop whatever is happening.
Yes.
Is things still falling down, or is it starting to like?
No, it's starting to revert. Like because you did your reality I was going to call you the PR, reality surge thing, right? Things start to like slowly revert. So you can see like as Ember's holding up with the shield and everything, like the pillar just moves back by itself very slowly, like almost like in a dream-like state. Everything just goes back to normal. And the oracles slowly get up, and once again, like they're not drowning or drenched in water, like the water just evaporates by itself. But and you realize upon looking at them that they all have like they all have white hair, white eyes, the pale skin. They all have that similar look, except for one that's like the eldest one, like all black instead, black hair, black eyes. Like, and when I say black, I don't mean like, like really the absolute color, like obsidian black.
Vanta.
Yeah, I was gonna say Vanta Black.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Can we say that? Like where it sucks in,
absorbs light. Yeah.
Yeah, we're saying that's what's happening.
Yeah.
I love watching those videos. They like mess with my eyes in the best way possible. But yeah, so this one, but when they're out of the water, they start to fade and start to look like their normal selves, right? So when the powers shift and leave them, they start to look like different people when they're not actively seeking out information. But you can see that they're all like weakened from what happened. And so Arctis gathers them all up and says, we'll have to check in on the oracles and see if there's been, and he just lets out this huge tired sigh, like this sad huge polar bear sigh. And he says, we'll have to see what we can do. And he looks at the three of you. He looks at you, Ember, like he's about to ask you something. And then instead he turns to Civ. Civ, would you mind taking point on this?
Sure.
And then he pats Ember like awkwardly on the shoulder. You have enough things to take care of, they say.
I don't think Ember completely equates that like Arctis went, oh, she's a disaster. I'm not putting her in charge of anything. I don't think she has put that together again yet. Although she might, it might occur to her later on. But she's like, thank you for understanding the seriousness of my responsibilities and the diligence required to deliver all of the care packages back and forth between the Halima and their kin. But surely, Arctis, we must all join our efforts to find these children and this kingdom that you speak of. And she's like, we should do the library thing or talk to the oracle thing, but obviously the oracles are probably not in good shape. I don't know if we can like cut to the scene of us talking to the oracles or reading their stuff or whatnot to try and figure out where these.
Or do you want to cut to Pingu? I mean Perry.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Sorry, you're gonna say something, Morgan?
I was gonna say, I bet the oracles are tired of us, so they're just like,
yeah.
They're just like giving these looks like, please go away.
Please stop destroying our stuff.
Yeah. Even if you undestroy it, we still don't like you destroying it in the first place.
That's true. Yeah. And they're probably really, it's probably one of those weird things where they know you very well because they've seen you so often in their visions, right? So, so there's this weird sense of familiarity from their end.
And I don't know if we want to have a scene of it, but I think Ember's, natural thought would be to talk to Perry about prophecies around children and raising kingdoms and that sort of things and who they might be.
Yeah, absolutely. Would we like to fast forward to being at the library? We'll say that Arctis helps the oracles to leave. I'm sure all of you come in to assist. I'm also going to say that Kaya Rosario, who has all of those natural occurring clones, they've been working really well with the division, so they're there to help out, right? So they help out with the oracles, and one of them though, one of the Kayas, let's say it's 004. escorts you towards the library. This Kaya is like, and just to remind everyone, this was like from the last Missing Link. A new clone of theirs would just show up, pop through the portal, right? And so we discovered that there are all these different versions of Kaya, and they all get along, but they're all their own person at the same time. And so this Kaya 004 is a little more somber than the rest. Is a little like just a little sadder, right? If you ask them, I just watched like Beetlejuice, and so it's like that kind of goth girl energy is what Kaya is giving off. And Kaya always has like a book with her, yeah, I actually think this Kaya in particular uses she, they pronouns, and so she likes reading Edgar Allan Poe. Agnes has tried to get her to read romance novels, and she doesn't like them. You know, Kaya says, "You mean both of them survive in the end? What's that about? That's not very interesting, is it?" And so this Kaya 004 brings you to the library, and she looks at you, Celine, and she says, "Are you okay? You seem a little off, or am I imagining it? I'm not very good at these people things."
It's fine. I'll be okay. I always am. Anyways, do you and she looks the other two because she doesn't really know what to ask. She was very put on the spot by this question.
She says, Celine has just endured incredible turmoil as she's held the worlds together and prevented them from being torn asunder by some malevolent forces.
And Celine's just going to stare at Ember, just like, why are you like this?
She sort of looks at Celine like to make sure that was right, and then turns back and says, "We would love to know anything you could help us out with to determine the source of this kingdom that we built by the children." She sort of looks back because she's getting all this secondhand. So, yeah.
Right. And by this point, you're at the library, and Kaya 004 turns around and says, "Sure, I can help." And they turn around, and where is that penguin? And at that moment, you hear like slap, 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 slap of the flippers against the ice, right? And then you hear a voice, "Oh, back again, are you? I'm here to solve all your problems again, aren't I? Only come by when you need something. Perry, where's this? Perry, what's that? Perry, I need this. What about Perry? What about what Perry needs?" And he just looks very flustered and unhappy, and looks a little like stressed. Like you can see like he has like all of these like books that are floating behind him that are held together by these chains. "I spent all day wrangling these books, trying to put them back in the Forbidden Archives, and here you show up. What is it? What?" And he looks like incredibly like ready to burst. And Kaya just does the worst possible thing, which is to pat the penguin on the head to try to calm them down. And so what do you do? Ember, I feel like you have this relationship with Perry. So how do you usually calm down Perry in a situation like this?
Yeah, I feel like Perry and Ember have had this dance many. I mean, the reason why Perry is so like annoyed is because this is like 100% true. Exactly what Ember does is like, yeah, your life's on, whatever's going on with you. But like, yes, Ember totally comes when she needs things. And I think the way that she, if not gets on Perry's good side, at least ameliorates him, is give him all his proper honorifics, which she's very good at doing. This is something that she's very familiar with. So she's like, "Good Lord Perinold, lead, archivist of the High Librarian of the Division, first of his name to hold the mystic chains of the Forbidden Archives, and the one who preserves the knowledge such that it may be used in the time that it is needed most. Now is one of those times it is needed most, great Perry." the librarian. Now is when we need you to show your true heroic self and save us from and help us forestall this incredible doom. And like it sounds super hokey, but Ember is 100% straight. Like she's not joking about any of that. That is all for Ember totally true. And I think that is also at some point, like he stops being able to be super annoyed with her, like midway through one of these big dramatic introductions or big dramatic appraisals of him.
Yeah, and
at
I
least
think
that's
like
how it normally works.
Yeah. And I think as you talk, you can see like their chest puff up like in pride, like, yes, that's me. First of name. I'm the most important one here. Like you can see like the little flippers like moving in like happiness that you are acknowledging their greatness. And so Perry says, very well, Princess Ember. And you know that they're happy when they call you Princess Ember. That means that they acknowledge that you are equals, right? Head librarian, princess of another realm, totally equal.
Totally.
And so Perry says, very well, you said a kingdom, children.
And at this point, Ember sort of looks to Civ because you were the one who knew and is like, looks to you to.
Yeah, and I'll sort of describe what I saw and also mention, it's probably, it might be my dad's fault.
And so when you're first talking, Perry looks like, there's a lot of, that sounds like a lot of places. But the moment you mention your dad, they stop and they're like, yes. That makes sense. And so without further like they don't even explain what's going on. The moment you mention your dad, even Kaya has this sort of look like oof. Right? Kind of like oof at max level. Ooh. And Kaya like knows where you're headed next. And Kaya says, all right, good thing I'm here then. It's only the two of us to open it up. And Perry nods. And they both lead you towards a deeper part of the library where there's this huge set of like ice doors that are like built, like, but they're like 2 stories high, like really, really impossibly huge. And on either side, there's like you can see like there's a modern mechanism where they built it into the wall from the division where it'll need 2 key cards to open it at the same time. Right. And so you see Perry like waddle over and then put out a stool so that, they can reach the key card while Kaya just goes over to the other side and they turn to each other and then they put it in at the same time and unlock it at the same time. And the doors open slowly. And Perry says, remember, don't touch anything here. We've done our best to collect everything that was associated with him. And the more digging we did, the more investigation we did, the more we found out that he has had a hand in many, many things that the division has been studying over the years. And Kaya looks at the rest of you and she says, what Perry's not telling you is that we're worried that maybe he helped create the division. And Perry
done track,
dun dun dun.
Everyone looks.
Yeah. And Perry is like, we agreed you wouldn't. And then Kaya like just shrugs. Don't you think Civ should know about that? Maybe. And Perry sighs. Very well. And leads you in deeper. And so like in this area, like there are all these like you can tell like they put together this place like just trying, like it's a mix of file cabinets, huge shelves, like it's all anachronistic from different time periods. There are huge chests right next to, like, for some bizarre reason, those fruit colored Macintoshes, right? Like from the 90s is like there, like everything that they could to get all of this information. And so Perry brings you to like one of the large bookshelves, right, and says, if it has something to do with the creator, it's probably this. And so he points towards the shelf, and there's this like whole shelf of like yearbooks, like as if from a school, right? And so I think this is a good time to ask someone to like grasp keys to see what information they can get from here. Who would like to grasp keys?
I want to do it.
Do it.
Yeah, I think you have a move for it too.
Do I?
I think, let me see. Oh, the truth above all else. Oh, no, you haven't taken it yet. Sorry.
Yeah.
I put Perry's full description in their
Oh,
little
perfect.
NPC layout. So
Thank you.
If we ever have to know how.
Perfect. I love it so much. Thank you.
I'm glad you remembered what you said.
Well, I didn't, but I tried to recap it as best I could.
All right. I'm going to use 2 darkness tokens on this. I got an 8.
Perfection. Okay. Very good. Very good. So on an 8 to 10, you uncover a key. No complications. So as you go through the yearbooks, all of you like take them out, right? And like splay them out on a nearby table. And you can see like there's something strange about these books where the names and the text and the name of the school keeps changing. Like you look away for a moment and you look back. So at first it's like the esteemed school of gifted youngsters, and then you look back, it comes back again, and it's like the private school of the, all these different names over and over again, but the faces never change. They're always the same, and it's always just this one class. So each like yearbook is like really slim. It's just one class, and there are just 20 students. They all look like teens and older, right? And you see like some of these yearbooks, like the very first one is from the 20s, right? And so like really old, like just put together like yearbooks, like very completely different typography. And the most recent one is all the way up to the 90s, but the kids look the same. Like they don't age.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. So
we have like 2 books that are clearly far apart, and yes.
And put them together and they look almost exactly the same. The only thing that changes is like their clothes or hairstyles, but it's all essentially the same person. So I'm going to write down the key is yearbooks showing the same unaging teens across the decades.
And are these yearbooks of, you said it was all these different schools, different school names, but do we have a sense of like, when they showed us these yearbooks, were they like, these are the yearbooks from the division classes, or like, why do we have these yearbooks? Like, what's the connection of that from them? If that's
and then you see like Kaya like brings over like the case files, and you can tell like these yearbooks were always recovered at these schools that were all roughly in the same area, like not exactly the same street or anything like that, but roughly the same area. I'm going to ask for help here from my American friends. Like, what is one of those like creepy old towns with
Ghost towns?
Yeah, I'm thinking like where like the rich people usually stay, like
in Chicago's supposed to be hella haunted. Salem has its witches.
Cape Cod is a Richie hoity-toity area.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. I like the sound of that. That's very cool. Yeah. So we can say like it's around that area, right? There's always like a new school over the years, and then something mysterious happens. Like there's a huge fire, or there's like a murder, or it's always something like really big and dramatic, and then supposedly all the kids are rescued over and over again, right? You can see like the newspaper clippings. You can see like other division agents have been sent to investigate what's going on, because it has been pinged by the oracles over the years, but the evidence, whatever they come up with in the end, has always been inconclusive, and not all the agents report back either. Like some of them have gone. Some of them like show up, but then after the case is closed, some of them go missing. Right. So there's definitely the division knows something is going on, but no one has ever been able to figure it out. I will note that it's all been human division agents that have been sent out. Like they've never sent a monstrous team to, because it's never pinged that high on the Oracle scale so far.
It's been a 1 or 2 or most.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ember, like, I think there's a scrapbook that has a newspaper clipping that shows like the school being burnt down, and it's got the burnt remains of the school in the picture. And Ember is like running her fingers across the rough paper of the newspaper as though she has some sort of psychometry that she can like sense what's there. She can't. She has no ability. But she's just like, this feels portentous. Which is like the most understated thing since we found like 9 schools that are all like this, and like it's like so freaking obvious. But you know, it's the one with fire that Ember feels has got to be it, right? Like the earthquake one, the flood one, like those don't really mean anything. It's the fire one. We must go here. This is the place. So yeah, she is like, that settles that in her mind's like, that settles that. We got to go to Cape Cod and find the school, find the kids there, whatever the current iteration of it is.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and so I think there's going to be like the kind of like Hellboy-esque music, right? As the camera shifts around, as we see everything laid out on the table and sort of fades, you know, towards the map where we know where it's going to be. Would anyone like to do anything at the division before we head out to Cape Cod?
I think there's just a very short little scene where we see like Ember literally like passing a parcel like through that tiny little portal to, you know, what's clearly her brother on the other side. And she's like, and now like these drawings were made, what would the Halima make? It's like the equivalent of making drawings to send home to your parents.
Oh, so cute.
You know, it's like yeah, we'll just say drawings. It's fine. You know, it's very difficult for them to make drawings that are less they can fit through this portal. So a lot of care and precision went into making things this small. And I included a magnifying glass so their parents could see, because I know these are very small relative to their scale. So you're going to have to hold it up and you're going to have to help them. Not all of them have opposable appendages. I'm counting on you to make sure these are delivered to the respective Halima parents. I'm going to be gone for a little bit. It's very important.
And Ash, it just makes us like, yes, Ember, hold up the magnifying glass, make sure they can see it. I got it.
You see this one? This is a drawing of them together holding up tentacles. See that? See that? That's the one that's here, and that's her parent or spawn. I'm not sure, but see, that's them together. It's
Okay. So has Civ said yes or no yet?
They haven't said anything.
Ooh. And it's that same oof face that Kaya made earlier. Like, and Ash is like, bad sign, huh? Trouble in paradise and all that. Mm-hmm. Like Ash has been watching a lot of like 90s movies, like at the division.
It is true that being in their presence is paradise, but no, I refuse. I refuse you that there's trouble. They just need time, or perhaps I need to find a more reasonable offer. Perhaps I just need to change everything about who I am to be a different person, so that I can be just right for them. Mold myself in the image of what it is they need, and like perhaps that's all. That's all that's needed.
Yeah, and Ash unhelpfully says, yeah, I guess it couldn't hurt.
Oh.
I mean, have you seen what you're like?
I do not possess astral projection. I'm not. Yeah. Yes. I possess the powers of astral projection so that I could see myself from a distance. Although,
And then Ash like puts a hand on your shoulder. Look. And then he has that like I'm being your older brother look, even though he is absolutely not the older brother.
Yeah, he is 100% does not know his little brother.
Yeah. And Ash says, I know I gave you a hard time for your human side, but I think in this case, you being human would help. So be less like mom and more like the mysterious human father we don't know about.
And Ember's like, part of her Ember's like, be sick and dying for no. Oh, I see. Yes, I'll try to be compassionate and thoughtful and less severe. And
Less
like the
violent.
The idea of like less severe, less violent, like makes Ember shudder. It's like so counter to who she is. But yeah, she clasps Ash's hand. She's like, "Thank you, brother. I appreciate this wisdom that you have imparted upon me. I will. Yeah." And then I'm trying to think of like a less severe thing that she could do
to prove that she's already trying.
To prove that she's trying, and she's like, "High five."
And like you see Ash look, and he tries to see where the weapon is supposed to come from that you're supposed to summon, because he's used to you doing like a last minute deal sometimes before you leave. Like, oh, a proper, yeah, up high, and then he puts his hand down low, right, like waiting.
I will never stoop down low. I have always held upright. And then she storms off. She just couldn't do it. She couldn't be chill. She tried. Ember has no chill.
Absolutely. And so, would anyone else like to check in on something or someone before we head out?
I mean, I kind of want to go have a little chat with Dad.
Yeah.
Smirk.
That's a very good point.
What the hell, Dad? What are you doing? Why do you keep trying to bring about the end of the freaking world?
So we cut to, and I really want to draw upon what you were saying as inspiration. I think we see it's not just one cell, right? I think they made like a series of rooms for your father, but they're all like transparent like glass, right? And there's this, like the walls of this containment unit are not touching, like you can see how it's like held out in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's like a sort of like, he's also surrounded at all times. Like there's another circle around him where it's like all these people watching, taking notes, like keeping track of all of the readings and the signs that he's given off. And
did the camera just sit on Civ for a really long time in the elevator to show how long the elevator ride was down?
Absolutely. Perfect. Yeah, it's deep down. And then when you step through, you can see how they look at you and they're like, "Oh, Civ, we're going to have to, and they apologetically show the little like electric buzzer thing that they have to attach to everyone when they come in."
And I kind of look down. I'm stone. I don't have a shirt that they can like, so they end up like trying to clip it on to like a little sort of ledge of stone.
Like there's a moment where one of them considers putting it on the necklace, and then they instead like put it on the little ledge instead.
Yeah.
And so there's also this huge ring, right? Of there's like a machine that creates this energy ring at the entrance, right, when you're supposed to step through, right? And as you step through it, you can feel it like it's almost like it's like when you normally go into a place where they like remove any like debris or any bacteria or whatever, but instead of that, it's like all psychic mental stuff. Like
gotcha.
You go through it and they just completely clear everything, right? Just to make sure that there's nothing for him to be able to latch onto.
Yeah.
And then, so as you step through, there is a transparent chair that's waiting for you on one side. And then there's this glass plastic like panel. And he's already waiting there. Like he knew you were going to come.
Of course.
Right. So he's seated there and his legs are crossed. He has his arms crossed in front of him as well. And he says, Civ, you look wonderful, he says, smiling with your exact same face.
What did you do?
Well, today I thought I would do some painting. And maybe later I did request for more books. But perhaps you're talking about something else, he says, smiling.
And the whole time when he says that, her face doesn't move a millimeter. Like, she's gotten pretty good at not being stone-faced among people she cares about, but when it's him, she doesn't fake breathe. She doesn't blink her eyes or do anything. That's not what I meant.
Ah, yes, of course. You're here to ask me about it. So, I heard that they couldn't save one of the oracles.
What did you do?
And he smiles. Now, my dear, how about this? You tell me something I would like to know, and I'll tell you something you would like to know.
Fine. You answer my question first.
Very well. So you're asking, well, if you're talking about what I believe you're talking about, then you must be headed to Cape Cod, correct? You must have found the yearbooks by now.
Of course.
And he smiles. That was one of my favorite experiments. The children were very malleable, very open to what I had in mind. And of course, in a world that wouldn't accept the powers that they had, I was there to help them, to give them a home.
I don't like him saying that home word. That's not truth. Mm-mm. I think I actually grind my teeth at that, but they're stone, so.
And he smiles at you. Oh, Civ, you shouldn't feel jealous. I didn't give you a home because I wanted you to be stronger, less attached.
Okay.
And so I think at this point, why don't you try to grasp some keys, see if you can get more information out of him that he doesn't want to slip up.
I did end up taking more darkness because I'm being introspective and I don't in the library scene and like I don't know what's going on and I don't know how it's affecting us. So I'm gonna spend 1 darkness token on this roll. I got a 9.
Ooh, nice. And then so you can see that that you not responding is like getting to him, like right? He's not getting the reaction that he wants out of you. And he stands up and he says, I do hope that you'll be able to meet her. I created her just for you. I'm sure that you'll come to love her as much as she loves you, your dear mother. And Mother has always been so good at taking care of the children. I'm sure that she'll take good care of you.
Just like you took good care of me.
And he smiles very widely at that. I did. Look at you now. Aren't you happy?
I don't even dignify that question with an answer. He left me in the bottom of the ocean for like 1,000 years.
And so he looks at you and he says, well, I recall that we had an agreement that you'll answer one of my questions and tell me something I want to know, Siv. Don't you think I fulfilled my end of the bargain?
I will be just as unforthcoming and vague as you were with me.
And then he looks at you and the smile disappears and he says, how do you know you're not pretending to be in love?
I don't. I'm choosing to be. And I get up and I turn around and I walk away.
And as you walk away, you can hear his voice fading away as he says, it's not going to last, you know. You weren't built for love. I made sure of that.
Yikes.
I'm not sure if Matthew was yikesing at something.
He was yikesing at me. He does this all the time.
Thank you, Matthew.
You were yikesing at me, weren't you?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, Jen, Matthew feels for you.
Yep.
So I'm going to add that particular key that a mother was created to take care of the children. But yeah. And so I'm trying to remember, Celine, did we get to, I don't think we've had a scene for you yet.
We haven't, but I think she's going to check in on Winter before she heads out.
So Winter is playing D&D.
Oh,
Right.
jeez.
Yeah. And so they're doing that part where like they're at town and they're going to buy stuff, right? And so all the kids are like going over how much gold they have and like what they're going to get. And, you know, you can see that all the kids are happy. And the person who's running the game is Catalina Lee. You notice that he uses sign language to talk to the other kids. Catalina has long white hair, darker skin, very large eyes. And Catalina also like communicates sometimes in like telepathic visuals from time to time, but mostly it's like sign language. And you see like the other kids go along with it. Like you can tell you've walked into them being really serious. Asterio is here. He's a lot more relaxed than the last time you saw him. He looks a lot happier. All the kids look very happy, actually. And you can see that Kaya, one of the Kayas, has created a machine that connects the Halimau so they can, like, while they're dreaming, they can see what's going on in the D&D game. They can, like, check in. I realize it's like the kids are streaming, right? You know? Directly into the Halimau's dreams.
Very
But yeah. And so when you come by, Winter already senses you before they see you. Like you can see their fur go like, "Ruh," and then they turn around. Celine, yes. Sorry, leave earlier. Scary, Oracle, Ember Fire, Loud, Rar, Winterhide.
Yes, I know. Ember Rar, indeed. I was just checking out with you. We're about to head out for a mission. I just want to make sure that you were okay. And how's this going with the children? And she gestures vaguely at the D&D board in front of them because she doesn't really know exactly what it is. Like she knows they do this and it's called D&D, but she's like, "What? What is it?"
And then Winter gives this really big grin. Crit! Fireball.
Oh, so
Very
you're
good.
winning.
Yes, and then Winter like pushes the character sheet towards you, and you realize that they're playing a wizard called Ember, who looks suspiciously like Ember.
So meta.
It's so cute. I was like, oh, I see you have real world inspiration for this character.
And then Winter looks super excited, and Catalina turns to you, and with his sign language, he tells you that originally he tried to create a character that was more like you, but there was just too much collateral damage. There was a lot of it was hard to not make the character overpowered. So
I think do we all know sign language, or they can hear us talk back?
they can also hear you. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to figure out the communication. Yeah, I think she's like, I understand.
I think it's like they can hear you telepathically.
Okay.
If that makes sense, right? So even if you're talking vocally and they're technically deaf, Catalina can pick up on it.
Yeah, I think she just nods then and then like says in the brain space, like, I understand.
And then Winter looks at you. Souvenir? Gift?
I will pick one up for you, yeah, of course.
And then Winter leans in close. Where? Like, and it's their way of asking, am I allowed to ask where you're going, or is it top secret?
They didn't say it was top secret, so I'm gonna assume that be like someplace in the US? Cape Cod?
Oh, and Winter says, fish? Bring fish? Fish, wall. Ah. And they're trying to ask for like a wall-mounted like fish of some kind.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely see what I can do.
I love that you're like, I'll get Winter little keychains and things like that they can wear, and they're like, give me a big old.
I want a big old singing fish.
A big old singing fish, yeah.
When I was singing bass, they hit the button and like it just like turns to you and starts flipping its tail and like singing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Perfect.
And I think with that, she's just gonna like wave to everybody and just like head out.
Yeah, so go ahead and take a bond on Winter.
Oh yeah.
And then Winter waves, bye. And then
so much.
And then you can see Catalina like in the distance, like sign language, and then suddenly attack. Like bandits show up in the town, and everybody's like, oh, we were shopping.
I was trying to get a +2 flaming longsword.
Absolutely. Okay, so I think this is a good time to cut to Cape Cod. So the portals are activated. We see Ma'am Agnes by one of the portals. We see like there's a whole group of them as usual. They go through the countdown together to make sure that the portal magics are holding through. I will say, Celine, you know that ever since what happened with the rift, the portals are not as stable as they used to be. So more of them are like they're not using them as often as they used to. Like some division agents have been sent out through conventional means, but they're still using a portal for you, of course. And so as you step through to get to Cape Cod, what do we see when we get there? Like I want to ask Sean, what does it? So I'm assuming we're going to go to one of those like nice villages on the side where it's like a tourist attraction, but the rich people hang out. Like over there, like I assume rich people usually gravitate towards the top, right? So like
yeah. I think we step out onto the beach, like our feet, like we step through the portal and into sand, and you can see the waves lapping up. It is all dark in the portal room, and it's like sunny and bright here. There's a lighthouse just in the back of the frame, and there's like this wood picket fence along the boardwalk, and we see like some kids rollerblading on the rollerblading on the boardwalk, and the like just like up the hill, the golf club and more cordoned off Richie Rich only folks, just areas right in the background, but we're kind of in between those. We're just on the outside of the wealthiest areas that are actually they're not technically gated. They're just you should know better than to be here if you don't belong. Someone will ask if you're looking for anything. What can I help you find anything if you don't look like you belong there. And I think Ember is like sitting there for like a moment, and then like there's this thud as like a frisbee like hits her in the head. A frisbee like that went like so that someone accidentally missed, and it's like thunk, and it like clearly doesn't hurt her because I mean it's a frisbee and whatever, but like it bonks off of her, and then we hear the crash of the waves, showing that we're on the beach.
Perfect. And so, Morgan, I want to ask, what's usually the protocol for division agents, monstrous agents, when they're around the mundanes? Like, especially because you technically fit in, but Ember with her fiery hair and Civ being a statue, not so much. So,
And we just kind of like appeared, right? Like
stepped onto the beach. Yeah.
Yeah. I think she steps in and grabs a frisbee and like holds it out to them. And she's like, photo shoot for a sci-fi magazine. You understand.
And so the kid comes by, right? And they go like, whoa, nice effects. Like looking up at Civ, like looking at the stone. Looks super real.
Yes, we must get going. Thank you. Here you go. And she just pushes the frisbee into their hands and kind of like in a way kind of really pushes them back away from Civ just so Civ can have her space.
And so that Ember doesn't decapitate them.
Yes.
That's really the important part. Like, Civ doesn't actually need the space. It's really Ember that this.
I think Celine gives Ember a look like, do not touch the mortals.
And so, Civ, I want to ask, or Jen, of course, that here in the area, there's actually like a community of monsters, right? That have to lay low and hide and try their best to like fit in with everybody else. Who are they?
Yeah, I think that they are like veterans from Division. They like retired or quit or washed out of the program for one reason or another. They also have sort of congregated here for unspecified reasons, which maybe are plot related. We'll see. Yeah, but I think that especially like with the amount of time I've spent in the library and stuff, and going to visit people in their dreams and whatnot, I've definitely met some of them, maybe not all of them, but
yeah. And I'm gonna say like there's one definitely that's waiting for you. Like they were told ahead of time to make sure to meet you, and so this one in particular, you can sense that they're wearing a glamour to make sure that people won't know what they really look like.
Yeah, what I wanted to say was like, can they have big Hellboy energy? Like that like, hardened, I'm too sick and tired of having to come in and save the day all the time. Like they don't have to look like Hellboy, but like have that energy.
Right. Yeah. Like definitely have that energy. Like they've just really been through it and they're really just looking forward to their vacation. And
they will never get.
100%, absolutely. So this one, what they normally look like when they don't have the glamour on is they look like a 3-headed werewolf, right? So they're usually in like this anthropomorphic form, but the 3 heads. But so instead with the glamour on, they just look like Columbo, right? They're just like this guy in a trench coat that's kind of crumpled, and then they got this like kind of tired face, but not as happy as Columbo. Like there's kind of like a and so when you show up, you can see like so their name is Freddy Santos, right? And so Freddy is like, wait. We have everything under control here. I've been checking in with the boss like I'm supposed to once a week. Nothing's been going on. You're supposed to check out that school burned down years ago. Oh, thank you for putting in the picture. Perfect. So, and like you can tell that he's hoping that you're going to tell him everything is fine, right? And there's nothing to worry about. So,
ever the optimist. Yeah, I think I can't help but smile a little bit because I know what he actually looks like, and this form, this glamour that he's taken, to me, for some reason, to me is just adorable. I just love it so much. Yeah, and I'm like, I mean, I don't know exactly what's going on, but it's not good, and yeah, it would be a 5 oracle alarm if there were 5 oracles left.
And then when you say that, the cigar just drops out of his mouth.
Yeah.
What do you mean? That and then he starts looking through his trench coat. My medication. I need my medication. I just need and then he opens up this like tin, like little like breath mint kind of thing. Right? And then he like you can see like there are all these different pills on the inside. Mm-hmm. Right? And then he just and then he like pops it in. Okay. No, this is fine. And you're headed to the school. Yeah, that's okay. It's fine. My retirement plan. We're gonna go fishing tomorrow, but it's fine. Totally no problem. You'll have it fixed up today, right? Like just wrapped up. You're one of the best, right? We've heard so much about you three, so you'll get it wrapped up in a day, right? Right?
Have you met Ember and Celine?
Ember has reached down into the sand and picked up his discarded cigar and like dusted off some of the sand, that's like inevitably gotten on it. And as she's like breathing, I think she's doing everything she can to like suppress her nature so that her fire just looks like it could be a special effect, like Celine described it, not like it's this giant flaming corona around her head. She's trying to look more human, and but as she's breathing, you can see the ember of the cigar like pulse, like it goes like when she breathes in, it's like someone's taking a puff off of it, even though she's not like doing it. And she says, then she hands it to him and says, like, you dropped this.
And he very carefully takes it from you. Thanks, Ember. Was it? And he leans over to Civ. Is this the girlfriend you were talking about the last time?
Yes.
Yeah. Very nice to meet you. Very nice to meet you. Like he offers a hand.
Yeah. Ember gives a slightly too hard handshake. Like, nice to meet you as well. But like, she's not like crushing tank level. Like, I'm gonna break all the bones in your hand. But just like it's a little stiff. Maybe she's a bit jelly. Maybe she's just not sure who this person is. But yeah.
Oh, do you want to try to test his strength a little bit just to see how strong this retired agent is?
Yeah, that would be that sounds fun. I think I wanna I think I want to unleash the dark just a little bit.
Proving Siv's point. Perfect.
To say that like Ember is very cognizant that she doesn't own Civ, but nor will she be like discarded from nor will she be talked about like she's not in the room. Like, yes, I am Ember. Civ and I are romantic partners, very much in love with one another, and she's
and like just slowly getting a little strong.
Yeah, like, and you better take this seriously. Let's.
If Civ wasn't stoned, she'd probably blush.
Let's unleash the dark a little bit. I'm gonna spend 2 tokens. I realize the current setup, I can't actually show people what we're rolling, but that's okay. They know we're rolling 2d6 in this case +2. Did it do it? There, did it. Oh, goodness. I got a 13.
Oof. Okay, so on an 11 plus, your control falters and you go too far. Choose one, but the keeper describes an unintended consequence. So you still get to choose one. Did you want to? Any of these could like fit for what you have in mind. So
get what you want from them. Avoid reprisal, harm, or contest. Get the upper hand for now. I think I want to get the upper hand for now. I think I want them to, acknowledge, like, and I think for now really is probably like, I want you to play nice with us and help us out and like do what you can as a former division agent and all that jazz. And I imagine it'll last exactly as long as Ember is exactly as long as we're present, right? So yeah, does that seem reasonable? As the interpretation of getting the upper hand.
Yeah, sure, absolutely, right. And so as you do that, there's a moment where like they nod and they're smiling at you, but the glamour like flickers for a moment, right? And you can see them at their true form where they're like almost 9 feet tall, and you see these huge heaving heads, just like rows of teeth. And even though it's in the middle of the day, you can see the moonlight shining off of their fur,
nice.
Right? And you see them shake their head like they're trying to refocus the glamour. But I think in order to say how you go too far and an unintended consequence, I think there's a moment where Freddie says, I understand. Ember, are you here, Ember? And so like he's waving his hand in front of you, and there's a moment where your eyes just like light up, just like full of flames, and we see off in the distance one of the stalls just spontaneously combusts, right? Just full of fire. And then another one, like there's a bicycle that's on the side that no one is driving, and it also starts to burst into flame. And for a moment, Freddie's like, are you Civ? But I'm going to tick the doomsday clock.
Oh, nice. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Please do.
And so this is a new mechanic. I'll get into it a bit. But basically what happens is you realize that you set off a trap of some kind, right? Something that is supposed to detect your specific presence.
Got it.
And so you don't know if it's like you or if it's someone from your dimension, but there's something in the area that is responding to what's going on. So I'm going to say traps have been... Ooh, I have to change the font size. It is way too big and scary. So
can we change that to the verb there to be ignited?
Ooh, I like that. Very good.
And I would just love one more thing to catch on fire, which is like the kids are throwing the frisbee and like in midair, just and frisbees are plastic; they should not flame, but this one just catches on fire. And like when it lands, when it gets to the other kid, he's just like watching as it's like just slowly falls to like a pile of ash in front of him. It doesn't hurt anybody, but it's like it's just yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And Celine, you can see like with those same senses of like looking at what connects reality, there's something that's connecting all of these things, like the frisbee, the bicycle, the stand, all these random things. And it goes all the way up towards like this mountainous area, like where you know that you're headed, like it's going all the way back there.
I think with that, she actually just steps past the group just to get a more defined look. So it looks like she's walking past them and just keeps walking, but she's just trying to get to like, I think on top of the sand dune to like have a more of a better visual of like what's going on.
Right. And as you take a closer look, you can see like through the air, these things that are connecting this trap. You can see like these small inscriptions and this word over and over again, Oraculus, Oraculus, Oraculus.
Oh, it's back.
Nice. I think when Ember snaps back too, when she like gets out of focus, she's like lets go, and she's like, oh, like, and like clearly like his hand is probably white from her squeezing so hard, and she lets go. She's like, oh, yes, since you're local, maybe you can show us the way to the school. We don't necessarily fit in as well as you do.
Right. Then he sucks on that cigar, like really thinking, tapping his foot. Don't worry, we can get one of them. We can get one of our own too. Handle we can buy a new frisbee, no problem. Right. And then he says, "This way, a lot of you, just heads down.
I already told the children that it is a sci-fi magazine shoot, so go off that.
Oh, and then when you say that, like Freddie looks at you, Siv. Oh, at least one of them is like professional. Okay, like there's this like look of relief. I'm like, and so with that, as you're led away, I think the camera is going to like follow these lines, like the oraculous word over and over again, and we hear the same whispering that Celine heard, oraculous over and over again. And we can see, like, as we follow these red lines up towards the mountainous area here in this town, we can see that there's a person, pure white hair, white eyes, white skin, just crashes out of the undergrowth, and their skin is torn up from the thorns, and they're just heaving, trying to control their breath, and they look towards the camera, like waiting as they make their way up towards the mountain. And I think that's where we're going to end this session. Nice. Right. So with that, I think we have enough time for Stars and Wishes if everybody is cool with it, right? So for people listening and watching, Stars and Wishes is something we also talk about in the playtest document, but basically stars are things that we liked about the game, and wishes are things that we would like to see happen in the game, either in the next session or the series in general. This helps make everyone, so that we're sure that we're all on the same page about having a good time with the game, and it'll be easier for me as a keeper, right, to focus on what's fun for everyone. So I would love to hear. Let's go in. I want to say character keeper order. So we'll start with Sean. Sean, what are your stars and wishes?
Thank you. My stars. It was so delightful to return to these characters. I really loved that. We progressed their relationships and their situation in a really cool way, so that it didn't feel like we were just sort of picking up the scraps from the last episode. Things had developed and things were new and the situation had changed. And I always feel like it's really important to start off a new campaign or a new whatever with like, cool, what's the new interesting situation here? And Jamie, you gave us all kinds of cool, weird stuff, and I'm glad that we are at the doorstep of getting into it. So the setup, I think, was really, really brilliant. Jen, thank you so much for playing Civ as having a complex relationship with Ember. I think it's great to see their relationship mature. I know for sure Ember was like walking alongside Civ, like trying to be like, was that too much? Did I overstep? Like, she's definitely insecure about like, is that like your ex-boyfriend, and am I being weird? Like, what's going on? So that's fun because she's trying to
not. That's why it's so funny.
I know, but it's still like she's worried about being overprotective or jealous or all these things, which I just like that. And Morgan, I loved that Celine is the one that like keeps things together and is professional and is organized, but also like there is some feels there and like your own heart palpitations. I was just thinking, like, what's it like for a creature that's made of stone to feel heart palpitations? That's kind of cool. So yeah, those were all just delightful for me. And in terms of wishes, I I think I just kind of want to see what happens next. Like I'm really excited about what do we find when we go to the school, and it's kind of just like more of the maker, more of mom, more of family dynamics. I mean, all the things we did, maybe big monster to wrestle, but that's because I'm always down wrestling big monsters. But yeah, so more of the stuff. How about you, Jen? Or wait, no, it shouldn't. Character keeper order. Next one would be Morgan. Sorry.
Oh, that's me. Yes. Oh my god, my brain short circuiting. It's getting late. Okay. Stars. That's the word I wanted. I was like, what? I was like, lines, veils. Nope, that's not it. Hold on. What is the term I'm trying to use?
Roses, thorns. Wait, no. Hold
Wait,
on.
no. Shoot. Okay, hold on. I think just Ember's intensity. I forgot how much it was. just Sean, it's so good. And then I just love Civ's just like, I love how Civ hasn't said yes to the wedding yet.
Yeah.
It's been just that what if, so that like tension of a relationship is nice to view from the outside.
Yeah.
And wishes, I remember that word now. Wishes. Oh, maybe this time I'm not like the prophesied one who's supposed to bring the end of the let someone else have a turn at that.
Sure. And
There's a lot of pressure.
Like but yeah, absolutely. No worries. Yeah.
Yeah, so for stars, dinner with the queen of the Cinder realm was amazing. I loved it so much. I love that Ash is like a complicated character now instead of being like a caricature of a brother. He has like, motivations, and he's, getting to know Civ and stuff like that. So I really like that. Yeah, I think it was just really fun to get this group of players together, this group of characters together. And I think, my one wish for myself is just that I wasn't so yawny, because the whole game I felt like I was just yawning the whole time. I forgot that a Wednesday night game that goes till 11:30 is like, but it's right? So good. It's such a good game.
Yeah.
It's such good people.
But it's late. Yeah.
But it's I was like, oh, I forgot we go for like 3 hours. Oh, yeah. Oof.
Yeah, I think for wishes, I know that like I'm interested in the whole mom idea, but also I don't know how hard I want to play into that. So that will be a thing that I need to pay attention to, and then if something hits in a way I don't want it to, we can just change it, and that will be good.
So. Yeah, we can absolutely script change anything. So yeah, super cool. Is there anything else you wanted to add for wishes?
No, I think that's good. Yeah.
Cool. And so I won't forget. I almost did. We're also going to do end of session moves, where we'll just it's mostly the same, just simplify compared to last time. So end of the session. So each player answers for their PC. So let's start with Sean for Ember. Did Ember express her monstrous nature or her humanity in this session?
Yes, all of the above. I think she was definitely monstrous several times, catching things on fire, tearing things apart, but also like incredibly insecure and super
I think for me it was like I had to change everything about myself. And Ash being unhelpful.
That will totally do it. So yes, I think so.
So go ahead and mark 1 XP for that. And I'm gonna ask the same for Morgan. How about for Celine? Did Celine express her monstrous nature or her humanity in this session?
I mean, just pulling back the fabrics of reality and settling that bit back down, like that may be her monstrous nature. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
so
Absolutely.
yes,
Go ahead and mark 1 XP. And then I want to ask Jen, how about for Civ?
Mm-hmm.
Like, did we see her monstrous nature or human side?
I think we saw both, actually. I think we saw the monstrous nature of my face changing. Because I didn't think to warn my girlfriend about that. But also my humanity during my talk with Dad.
That was something I wanted to add to my stars. Was I loved your conversation with your dad. That was really cool.
My star is my partner Matthew being unable to control himself with the yikes.
Yeah.
Actually, if you watch, I have on my YouTube channel, like Brindlewood Bay, Matthew so often would react like, "You did what? You're doing what?" Like, I'm trying to GM here. Anyways.
I am streaming on twitch.tv/actualplay.
But yeah, so go ahead and mark XP for that. And then the next question that we're going to ask for Ember, did you learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin?
That's a good question. I don't think I felt like there was a lot of like Ember prophecies here.
Or anything significant. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's definitely the sense that that they're waiting for us, like, and maybe waiting specifically for Ember. And I think that there's a growing suspicion that she has that her mom is plotting something, and that she may be falling into it. Like this whole, like her mom being so nice with Civ, maybe like her plotting to have us recreate her relationship with Civ's maker. So I feel like if anything, Ember learned, the significant thing that Ember learned about herself is that her personal life is also attached to all these apocalyptic threats. Like she doesn't get to have a personal life outside of outside of these like world-threatening events. They're all interrelated, and her choice to be with Civ and Civ's choice to be with her is going to have impact on these big cosmic effects. She doesn't know how yet, but it will. It won't go unnoticed by other folks. So yeah, I'm going to say yes, and that was it. The thing I decided just now.
Yes, I like that very much. So that's very, very cool. And then yeah, how about for Morgan and Celine, do you think you learned? I think we learned something significant about.
I mean, someone's saying like, "Oh, hello, little pet. We'll meet together soon." Who are you? What'd you do, my sister? So yes,
yeah, for sure.
Sounds
and the fact that we were surprised that you're still alive, right? So
yeah.
Sorry, you were saying, Sean?
I was just gonna say, it sounds like your sister may be lost in some realm and some sort of it didn't really bode well for your sister either. Felt like there was some imminent danger there too.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I have to ask, Morgan, are you against the idea of clones showing up in this adventure, or is this off the table?
No, clones are fine. I just feel like, no, they're back. So they're fine showing up. I'm just gonna be not emotional about it, just be like exasperated.
Yeah,
those dang clones.
Just checking. I'm not sure if they're gonna come up, but just in case.
I never get rid of them.
Yeah. And then how about for Civ? Did you learn anything significant about yourself? Or
yes, that I have a mom. Yes, the answer is yes.
That was created for you. So creepy. That's meant to take care of these other children. Who are these awful parents? Am I running masks without realizing it? Okay, so
we're masks, the older generation, not the newer generation. We're
we're
masks.
We're the crusty old heroes that still have parent issues.
Yeah.
But also we have kiddish, yeah.
We got stunted emotional problems, like
yeah. Guess what happens when kids with parent issues grow up? They become adults with parent issues and also with kid issues.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, for real. But yeah, and then so that was our second line of questions. The third one is, did you learn something significant about a fellow monster? Right. So Ember, did you learn anything about Civ or Celine?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Ember is learning about Civ in that like Ember always flies in like too hot or too cold. Like Ember is always like wham, like the speedometer goes 0 to 100 like instantly.
I mean, arguably, it's always too hot.
Yes, it's always too hot.
It's never been too cold.
That's
it's
fair.
Always too hot.
Ember is always too hot. and I don't think like Civ has ever rejected her because of that, but I think that she sees. I mean, I think the big thing she learned in Civ is that she's not ready to commit to Ember right now, and that's the big realization that Ember has no control over that has not come to her yet. Like she hasn't gotten to that point yet. She still thinks, but yeah, I think that's the big thing for her is just that Civ is not ready.
Yeah, understandable. And so, how about for Celine? Did you learn something significant about Civ or Ember today?
Well, Ember is always the typical hothead, so probably not on Ember. Civ does a weird thing with her face now.
It's true.
It's true.
It's true. Yeah, I mean, we could say that you've learned that Civ continues to be secretive, right? Like, she hasn't really learned how to keep everyone in the loop just yet, right? Yeah. So there's that. So go ahead and earn that XP. And then Civ, did you learn anything significant? I mean,
Celine like fixed the Oracle chamber after Ember broke it. There was time shenanigans.
I would also argue that you learned that Celine still has feelings,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there is that.
which I have not shared with Ember and will not share with Ember.
Thank you.
Because if there's one thing you learn after 1,000 years at the bottom of the ocean, seeing people's dreams, it's to keep your dang mouth shut.
100%. All right. And then our last question is, did you uncover at least one key of the apocalypse or attempt to unlock Doom's door? So I think everyone tried to get a key today. Isn't that right?
I did not. I mean, I was involved with the library scene, but I did not get the information. But I wasn't. I didn't roll to unlock. I didn't roll to get a key. So it did. So
yeah. Sure. Yeah. Because unlike last time, it used to be like what is the word? Voluntary or optional, but now it's like kind of like a more sure thing. But yeah. Very cool. Okay, so that's basically the start of Apocalypse Keys Season 2, right? I'm very, very, very happy to be with this group again. So we'll do our outros.
Well, wait, we have one thing we missed, Jeremy, which is your stars and wishes.
Oh yeah, yay! I keep forgetting, even though I wrote in the book that I should also do it. But yeah, so for my own stars and wishes, I had such a fun time playing all the NPCs coming home, interacting with everybody. That was so much fun. I really like that scene with Civ and her dad. I think that was like one of the highlights for me. Like it felt like a really cool. I just love that trope, right? The Hannibal / Magneto kind of. I love it so much. So that was a lot. I thought you did it really well. I like seeing the characters grow. Like I feel like even though this is the same Civ, she's not exactly the same, right? And I feel it's true for Ember and for Celine. I really am so impressed with everybody, like how you play these characters, like fell back into them, but also have shown how they grew, right? In that time, in that interim. And also big stars for coming up at Cape Cod. I look forward to looking up stuff and learning. If it's not obvious, I didn't really plan this mystery. This is all like intuitively happening and unfolding as we're playing. So I'm gonna write a chapter about how to do that if people want to. Though the truth is, I'm probably gonna write a mystery after we're done, like to reflect how this all went.
Nice.
We'll see how that goes. But yeah, and then so for wishes, I'm so in love with this new NPC that that Civ gave me, that Jen gave me, Freddie Santos. He's just so adorable. And like I kind of
so
want him
good.
to do well somehow. Even though I'll have to think about it. Like how, but I just love what you came up with. The idea that they're all veterans. It's super cool to me. I really like that. This is just the retirement plan, right?
They don't go to Florida; they go to Cape Cod. That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cute. I just love that idea so much. Yeah, and so that's basically it.
Fantastic. All right. Well, now we will do our outros. I'm Sean Nittner. You can find me everywhere at Sean Nittner on Twitter and the other places. I am recently, Evil Hat just released the Fate Roll20 Toolkit, which is a cool add-on for like a bunch of your Roll20 games. I'm really excited about it. People have been very happy about it. We also made some announcements about publishing some games. One of them is Project Perseus, which is not a game we played tonight. Well, there is another one, but I'll let Jamie talk about that. So yeah, lots of cool stuff going on the Evil Hat side of things. How about you, Jen?
I'm Jen Martin. I use she, her pronouns. You can find me on Twitter at 10penjen. Yeah, we've got some cool stuff we're working on for Bully Pulpit Games. We are working on our next set of Fiasco expansion packs, one of which I wrote. I'm very excited about it. It is set in the Regency England period, which is add Fiasco to that, and it's great. I love it so much. Yeah, that's pretty much been what's going on with me. What about you, Morgan?
Hey, I'm Morgan. I've been playing this game. You can I'm losing words here. You can find me on all the socials at Serena Bezos. I'm not doing much writing right now. I'm doing more streaming than anything else. Like this Saturday, you can see the premiere of our session 0 of Donuts and Duels, the Kids on Brooms game with Utopia. It's our pre-recorded, edited show, so we're trying out new things with Utopia with that one. I'm very excited about it. Then you can find me on Utopia again on Monday, where I do Game at a Glance, where I talk about BMPOC designers and their games, and I'm adding more things like talking about Kickstarters and news, and so it's going to be like just a chill, fun segment. And I got a bunch of other stuff, other games that I'm playing and joining in. Just follow me on Twitter; it's easier. Jimmy, hi.
Hey, so yeah, I'm Jamie. I use they them pronouns, and I created Apocalypse Keys, and I'm working on it with Evil Hat. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I get to say that. I'm still like about it. So I'm so grateful for everybody's excitement. I'm trying not to cry. Don't cry. I've been crying like for days about how happy I am. Anyway, I'm very happy. I'm very excited for Apocalypse Keys. So it's open for playtest right now. You can find out more. So is Project Perseus. I also signed up for that playtest because it also looks very, very cool. Created by the same people who made Bandit Blades and Scum and Villainy. So 2 awesome games open for playtest with Evil Hat. That's super awesome. And I would love to also see you on the Discord. We have a Discord for Apocalypse Keys if you have any questions, if you want to find a group to play with. And you can also find me, aside from that, on the Gauntlet community. So I'm one of the co-hosts for the Gauntlet podcast. And big shout out to the Gauntlet community. A major reason Apocalypse Keys exists is because of them. Everybody was so excited to help me playtest, and everyone's been super nice. I really should stop talking about it because I start crying. But anyway, I'm really happy. Thank you so much. And you can find me on Twitter at Temporal Hiccup. I use a lot of Sailor Moon GIFs, and I'll keep you all up to date on how it's going with Apocalypse Keys and my other games. Because I have others, but this is my big chunky baby right now that that I'm loving the most right now.
Awesome. All right, friends. We'll be back in 2 weeks to play more Apocalypse Keys. And next week, we'll have some Traveler and some Stars That Number and some Mothership, right? Is that sound right? Yeah. So lots of
Thursday. Yes.
lots of space games next week. Yeah,
Yeah.
all space games. Wild.